Okay, great. Welcome, everyone. This is the coaches and coxswains meeting for collegiate racing held on Lake Quinsigamond. This is the CNC for our second series, so to speak, our April 11th and April 12th races held coming up tomorrow and Sunday. Brief intro for those of you who haven't yet been to Lake Quinsigamond. We had some issues. That's why things are going to look a little different this year. Due to issues from ice and weather over the wintertime, our docks at Donahue underwent some significant damage and are currently being repaired. So that is why all of the visiting crews will be rowing out of Regatta Point. We absolutely appreciate the flexibility, and we just appreciate everyone's adjustments that needed to be made to make this all work. So let's get this started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Thad. I am with the Quinsigamond Rowing Association, and I will be presenting the information tonight. Joining me are the local host head coaches, Mike McDonald from Clark, and Jason Steele and Larry Noble from WPI. Also on the call is our chief referee for our spring racing series, John Quinn. He is joined by several other referees that are also on the call tonight. He will present the refereeing points later on in the presentation. As I mentioned previous, this weekend is hosted out of two locations, Donahue Rowing Center in Shrewsbury and Regatta Point Park in Worcester. Most of you on this call will be rowing out of Regatta Point. I'm going to briefly go over parking right now. Usually it's a bigger part of these presentations, but seeing as we're split in two different locations, I just had some points I wanted to go over. For those driving trailers, coaches, if you're familiar with the Regatta Point parking lot for our championship races, you're basically going to be pulling in the same north gate that you always do. We will have a police detail at 6:30. The gate will be open, and you're going to park all the way towards the southern edge of that lot. Basically, it's the edge of the lot closest to the buildings. You can actually, if you can see my screen here, it's right over here. We're going to be lining up the coaches. The trailers. For everybody else, that includes personal vehicles, spectators. That Regatta Point parking lot is open, but I just want to make it clear it is also open for the hospital employees as well. So it's very much going to be a first come first serve area. There is limited parking. Overflow from that parking lot is going to be directed along the street as long as it's safe and in an adequate parking area, or at the hospital parking garage, which is right up the hill. So please just keep in mind that south half is really going to be reserved for trailers. We have between the collegiate races in the morning and the high school races in the afternoon, we got a lot of moving parts with trailers. So that northern half is going to be, I don't want to use the word free for all, but it's really going to be not as regulated as up at Donahue. So please just keep in mind that will fill up fast if there are a lot of spectators. I would personally recommend that you go park in the parking garage. You will have a safe spot up the hill. And there is handicap parking at Regatta Point. If you pull in and you know anybody that needs handicap parking, please just let the police detail know. He will direct you where to go. Buses. There is limited bus parking along the street at Regatta Point. So once you drop off the rowers, once the buses drop off the athletes, if there is no more bus parking along that street, they are going to be directed to the Corazzini boat ramp around the other side of the lake next to Donahue Rowing Center. And that's where the buses will stage until it is time to leave. All right. Enough about that. Let's go over launching. I'm going to go over launching in two parts. I'm going to do from the Regatta Point and from Donahue. So most of you will be rowing out of Regatta Point. We are going to be using the South Dock and the Awards Dock for launching. It's basically open. We just ask you to move quickly. We ask the teams to get out on the water and come back in a very timely manner. When launching, as you can see on the map, you are going to go directly across the lake. Please watch for oncoming races. If you see a race coming down, please don't decide to cut across them right before the finish line. It's a bad move for everybody involved. Coxswains, you will take your boat straight across to the far side of the lake to the Shrewsbury shore. Regatta Point is on the Worcester shore. Donahue Rowing Center is on the Shrewsbury shore. So if you're launching from Regatta Point, you're on the Worcester shore, go all the way across to Shrewsbury. Luckily, the change this week from last weekend is just about our full race course is in. So there are buoy lanes, buoy lines, and everything's the Jason Steele and his group who put the course in did a phenomenal job this week by just moving quickly in order to have a race course for this weekend. So just thank them if you see them this weekend. Once again, launch, go straight across, turn north once you get to the other side of the buoy line. If you are in between two buoy lines and you're turning north, you are in a racing lane. Please don't do that. Move your boat all the way across to the exterior of the race, and then you can go north to begin your warm-up. When you see a race coming down, you need to stop rowing until the race passes you. It's common courtesy, and it's a good thing to remember on the lake. If you are launching from Donahue, you have two options. You can row straight across from the DRC and then proceed south down the Worcester shore. Once again, be mindful of races. Stay on the exterior of the buoy line. Please do not row beyond the Regatta Point beach. So at Regatta Point, there's a big sandy beach. We ask you not to go further south than that if you're rowing out of Donahue. Please turn in front of the beach as to not join into the people launching from Regatta Point. Once you turn, spin, once again, come all the way across, and then you will go north with all the other crews coming from Regatta Point to travel up to the start. The Donahue Rowing Center, if you look at the diagram here, does not have the dock configuration that you see. There's basically just two straight docks that come out of here. So coxswains, you need to pay attention when launching. Launching will be easier. It's going to basically send you straight across the lake. It's landing that you're going to need to pay a little more attention to. If there's a race getting ready to line up, it's going to be, we ask you to wait to land until after that race goes past you, because you will probably need to get a point by going out into a lane, turning, and then coming into the dock. So just be aware of that situation. Okay. All crews, when you're going to the start, when you are going past Donahue, there is absolutely no pressure. The current temporary dock configuration, like I mentioned, makes launching and landing tricky. And it's a little narrow between the buoy line of lane 6 and the end of the dock. So please, no pressure going past Donahue Rowing Center. All right. And no pressure going under the 290 bridge, which brings you to the start. So please, if you're going to warm up and do pressure pieces, do it before you get to Donahue, or save it for the warm up, the starting cove up north of 290 bridge. It's just going to be a little different of a traffic pattern with our docks, and not their typical configuration. All right, so coxswains, you will enter the starting cove area between the pier and Shrewsbury shore. So everybody's going to end up all together going north of Donahue Rowing Center, traveling to the start, and you're going to enter the starting area on the exterior span between the pier and the Shrewsbury shoreline. You will see our lane 6 buoy go right to the pier. Just go around. There's going to be another better picture to show it in a second. As a reminder, we have 3 large white buoys up in the starting cove. Traffic pattern is counterclockwise around them. And per usual, we ask you do not enter the far cove up past 290. It's shallow, and we have a group of referees that will be rotating through, and they will be sticking closer to the 290 bridge. Last thing we want you is to miss your race because you couldn't hear one of them. Do not go far into that cove. Please stay basically around those white buoys for your warm up. So with our fully buoyed course, this is the first weekend that we will actually have stake boats. So I'm going to go over our stake boat loading procedure. Once again, you can see the green arrows coming up from Donahue. You can see how there's a pier right here. You're going to go around this little land, and you're going to go enter the start cove through here. You're going to be, once again, to repeat myself, going counterclockwise around those three large buoys. And then when you are called by the officials, you are going to enter the course in what we call as lane 0. There will not be an extra buoy lane, but you'll see all 6 stake boats here and in, and then there's going to be a little space here next to lane 1. And this is how you're going to enter the course. You're going to enter the stake boat starting area in reverse numeric order. So 6, 5, 4, 3, so on and so forth. Coxswains, you're going to, once again, when called, and John's going to go over this shortly, you're going to enter through that span between the stake boat and the pier. You're going to come out, and we ask you not to row too far down. Depending on what the wind is doing, if you row too far, by the time you get over to your lane and spun, you could be either right on top of your stake boat or further down the lane. So please keep in mind for stake boats. I know this is our first weekend with stake boats, but just keep that in mind when loading onto these. Make good decisions. Coxswains, you will, once again, turn 90 degrees, go into your lane, and then you're going to turn again, and you're going to back down into the stake boat. And for those of you who haven't been here, this is just another view of our 290 bridge. When I talk about loading into the start, we go between this pier here off to the right and the shore. So you're going to be entering the cove through there. And then you can see the buoy lines in place a little bit here. And this large opening between the two piers is the racing span where all the stake boats will be in. You're going to be entering the course in the stake boats from the on your screen left-hand side of this large span, coming down, turning 90 degrees, and then coming across, finding your lane, and then once again turning and backing in. And I know this is going to be a bunch of people's first experiences this spring with stake boats. So please, if something doesn't make sense or you have any questions, we are going to answer questions at the end of this. So just hold on to them, and we will discuss this as best as we can at the end of it. So now to go over the U.S. rowing section of this weekend, here is the chief referee, John Quinn. John?
Yeah, thank you. How do I get my picture up there? Any need for that?
Not if you don't want to. I mean,
okay, that's fine. I really don't need it. Good evening, everyone. First of all, as Thad said, Jason, kudos to you and your crew for getting the course in. It is really. I know you really had a bust. It's not been a really great week in the Northeast, and we really appreciate the hard work that you've done. Folks, the purpose of the referees, and this is a registered regard, the purpose of the referees are 2 primary points. Number 1 is safety. Number 2 is fairness. So whatever we do with the idea of safety in mind. If you have any questions at all as I go through my presentation, ask, please. I would rather stop and answer a question, or answer a question at the end, or even at tomorrow morning, come up and ask a referee. But please don't go on the water uninformed. It's a little bit more difficult because, as Thad said, we'll be split in terms of our launching, but the referees will be boating from Donahue, not Regatta Point. We will be boating from Donahue, and we will not be pushing off until about 8:30. So if there's any part of this that you're just dying to ask and you have no idea of what you're doing, please stop by Donahue and ask us. We'll be on the porch or inside guys wearing blue, women wearing blue, and again, please. Okay, as Thad said, please, when you come up into the warm-up area, you are entering probably what is the most traffic congested part of the course. As you go around the 3 buoys Thad mentioned, you're going counterclockwise. Please look and see and make sure there is no one in your direct path before you take a practice start. My best advice was warm up as much as you can before you get into the practice area. But again, when you once you get in there, be very, very cautious. Number 2, once you are called, Thad also made the point, is as you go through the bridge up into the launching warm-up area and everything, the little cove area he's talking is up in your far right-hand corner. Please don't go up there. We will not chase you. We will not chase you out of that corner. The time we will call you and announce the race, but we will not run all over the lake and look for you if you are not ready to go. We want the crews to assemble above lane 0, and as Thad said, we want you to come down through the lane 0 area by the stake boat, between the lane 1 stake boat and the bridge pier, one at a time, high numbers first, because as soon as you clear the stake boats, we want you to stop and go across the lake into your high number stake boat first, lane 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. Under no circumstance, repeat, under no circumstance do we want you to go between the stake boats to load from behind. These stake boats installations are put in by a rope system. It's a little complex, but bottom line is we don't want you doing damage to the stake boats. We don't want you doing damage to your shells, and we don't want to create an unsafe situation. So please, we don't take the motorboats between the stake boats except under certain circumstances, and we don't want the crews between the stake boats. We will get you on your starting platforms. If you don't know how to back down, as Thad said, please do not row 150 meters downstream, because if there's a wind on Lake Quinsigamond, it's more than likely going to be swirling right around the starting line area. And if you haven't figured out that it's difficult sometimes to back an 8-oared shell down into a windy situation, especially a swirling windy situation, take my word for it. It is very difficult to back. So the less room that we need you to back up, we will the happier we will be. So back into your stake boats and get yourself affixed to the stake boats. Be mindful that the folks on the stake boats will not take equipment from you. So do not bring anything into the shell that you cannot carry down the course with you, because we will not be prepared to take it off your hands at the start, and we certainly do not want you to jettison the material into the water. Once we get all crews lined up on the stake boats, you will be aligned from the low number side. So there will be someone speaking to you. The aligner, the judge at the start, will be speaking to you in your right ear. Okay, you will hear them coming from your starboard side. That person will be talking to the stake boat holders. Push out a foot, pull in a foot. There's nothing for you to do at that point other than to keep your boat straight. Now, if you haven't used a stake boat before, again, the stake boat holders are under instructions not to allow themselves to get pulled into the water. If you have to correct a boat and pull it around, for example, if you want to pull it around towards starboard, common sense, you would have the 2-person pull it around a little bit, lightly, just hands only, no legs. As you're pulling around on port side to make that little correction, back down with the last oar on the starboard side. And the reverse is true if you want to make a correction heading towards the port side. If you know how to scull a boat with 2 taking bows oar or 3 taking twos oar, that works much, much better, and it will be much, much quicker. In an ideal situation, what we will do as soon as the crews are aligned, the aligner / judge at the start will show a white flag. That white flag is intended to be the information for the starter. The starter will announce the crews. They will very quickly run through the crews by name. We're not asking for an acknowledgement, but at this point in time, we will not be recognizing hands either. It will be up to you to keep your crews in line and point it down the course. So please be ready to go once you're on the stake boat and get your corrections. Once we get through the announcement of all 5 or 6 lanes or how many crews are rowing, the starter will say, attention, go. And they will show a red flag and drop the red flag, and the race will be underway. In the event that we have trouble getting people on stake boats, okay, we will go to a process known as quick start, which means that once we get the alignment, we will not announce the crews. We will just say, quick start, attention, go. The starter, he or she, whoever is the starter, will announce beforehand that they've gone to the quick start process. So if all of a sudden they are not announcing the crews, that's the reason, because we've gone to the quick start process. Now, the first 100 meters of the course are marked with a red buoy, and there's a red buoy marking the broken equipment zone. If anything breaks, and I repeat, breaks in the boat, stop rowing, get your hand in the air, and let us know what it is that broke, and we will stop the race and come back and attend to it. Please, 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 don't play games. Don't feel that you have the right to stop a race because you didn't get a good start. You do not have that right. If that happens, you'll be awarded a penalty, okay? And 2 penalties, and you will be a spectator. You'll not be permitted to row. But if something happens of a breaking nature, not a crab, not a jump slide, broken equipment, stop rowing. Over the body of the course, the referee, she or he, if you are about to wash someone or strike someone, they will direct you to come back to your lane by calling your crew's name, showing a white flag, and putting the white flag in the direction they want you to go. Okay, it'll be quick, but it will be done to keep you out of trouble. Please, the lanes, as Jason has them structured, as the folks have them structured, are very wide. Plenty of room to go down them. There's no need to feel jammed up. But if you're about to, we will not steer you down your lane. You can use the entire lane, go back and forth as many times as you want. But if you leave the lane to the point where you're going to strike another crew or wash another crew, we will direct you back into the proper lane. At the end of, a slight deviation from the rules of rowing. Normally in a race, if anyone leaves the boat, if a crew can finish the race with only 7 rowers in it and still be competitive, but it must finish with a coxswain. In this water, please, if someone by any chance catches a crab and falls out of the boat, stop the crew right away, okay? Because time in the water is very, very attentive that we get you out as quickly as possible. And if we have a crew that has rowed away and rowing down the course with less than the full complement of people, we have them to be concerned about, and we have the person in the water who has to be our first attention. So stop rowing, stay with your person that's in the water. Do not go in to try to catch them. Just mark the spot where they are, and the referee will pull them out, and we'll be on our way. And the finish line. As you approach the finish line, which is right near the Regatta Point Boathouse, on the right-hand side, on your starboard side, you'll see a little pagoda, little lean-to down by water's edge. It's on a tiny little island. And there'll be someone there with a red flag. And for about the last 200 meters, they'll have the red flag in the air. As the first crew goes across the line, they'll say 1, and you'll hear Mark. They'll say Mark, and you'll hear a buzzer go off, and the red flag will come down. When the second crew goes across the line, you'll hear Mark again, the flag will come up, and so forth and so on until all the crews that are in the race get done the race. At the end of the race, the referee, she or he, will do nothing for about 8 or 10 seconds other than stand there and just observe the crews. If anything has gone wrong with your crew in the way of an emergency, if someone has a physical problem or some kind of an issue like that, please put your hand in the air and get our attention drawn right away, and we want to attend to that because once the white flag goes up, the race is official. Now, in the appeals process, if you feel that your right to win the race has been compromised and you want to discuss it with the referee, put your hand in the air right away before that referee shows the white flag. Once the white flag goes up, the race is official. The referee will come over and very quietly discuss, ask what the problem is, and we want one person to tell what the issue is. This happened or that happened or whatever. And she or he will tell you what their version of what they saw was. If you can come to a conclusion, a satisfactory conclusion, a white flag will be shown and the red flag and the race will be official. If you feel that your race to win the race still has been compromised, they will show a red flag, which means that the race is unofficial. Now that's 2 parts. If you want to follow up on that red flag, within half an hour after leaving the water, you have to go to the dockmaster at wherever you're boating, either Donahue or Regatta Point, with a written statement of what happened and $50, check, cash, some form of currency, and we will hear it at the end of the racing. We will, if it's necessary to have a jury hearing, we'll do it at Donahue after the last race of the morning. There's only 8 races, so it's going to be pretty quick. At that point in time, again, clear the finish and go back to where you launched from very carefully. That's about it. Again, if there's any questions that you have, it's just read the rules of racing. It's pretty much right out of that process. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. We'll be as explicit as we can. And again, safety first, fairness second. Please and thank you are part of our vocabulary. So please reciprocate with that. We want to make it a very nice, good regatta. And again, that goes without saying. Now, Thad didn't cover one point, and that's the urination, Thad.
Yes, that's my usual end of meeting topic.
End of meeting. Okay. All right. See you tomorrow, folks. Have a great race, whatever day you're rowing, Saturday or Sunday.
All righty. Thank you, John. So once again, to echo what John said, they're there for safety at number one, fairness number two. The unfortunate thing about this weekend in our current setup is the referees are based out of Donahue Rowing Center. So they're a little less accessible for questions. So please, if there are any questions at the end of this presentation, by all means, ask away. Okay, so after the race is finished, once again, please make sure the referee makes it official, as John mentioned. They'll put a white flag up. And then this is important because this could get tricky, but as long as everybody has their head on a swivel and are aware of their surroundings, this should be fine. If you are going to Donahue Rowing Center, Coxswains, you're going to carefully move your boat to the Shrewsbury shore, which is the shore off to your left as you're sitting at the finish line. Purple arrows on your screen. If we're going to Regatta Point, you go to the Worcester shore. Green arrows on your screen. Going to Donahue Rowing Center, you will continue to row all the way up outside of the course. Once again, stopping for any races that come past. And then you're going to land. And the emphasis I'm going to put on landing is just make sure you're well aware of the races that are locking onto the stake boats and be aware of your surroundings, because it's not like the ways of the past where you could just land by pulling into the dock. You actually have to come out a little bit into a lane, stop, turn, and then go into the dock. So please, Coxswains, just be very vigilant about how we're landing. Those of you landing at Regatta Point, once again, you will have the option to land at the South Dock or the Awards Dock, whichever one you're directed to by the dockmaster, whichever one's not in use. The one thing is, if there's a line waiting to dock, we ask you not to sit right at the finish line. You will see on the island off to your side, there is a little grandstand building where the officials are sitting and the timer staff is sitting. So please do not sit on that finish line. You will be in the way of people finishing. Once again, please be as quick as you possibly can on the dock. I don't anticipate issues tomorrow. There's not a large volume of people racing, but tomorrow or Sunday. But please just be quick on the docks. Once again, watch for oncoming races. That applies for the people rowing back to Donahue, and stay away from the course. If a race is coming down, once again, please stop your crew until the race passes, then continue. Absolutely no urination in the lake. There are porta potties at Regatta Point and public bathrooms at both sites. If you are caught urinating in the lake, your program is subject to a 1-year ban and you are subject to criminal charges. So please keep that in mind. And that kind of brings us to the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, please, you can do the raise your hand function. You can enter them in chat, however you feel comfortable doing. While we wait for those to roll in, a recording of this meeting will be up on the Quinsigamond Rowing Association YouTube channel. If there's anything that you missed or you want to go back and check out, it's worth it to go check out the YouTube channel and watch the video again. There is also a course tour available to watch on the channel. It's basically a flyover of our fully buoyed course. You can see the layout. One thing we didn't really mention or go over, that the course does have every 500 meters there are large red buoys that mark 500, 1,000, 1,500 and finish. So it's pretty well marked and pretty easy to figure out. And by the weather image icon over off to the side, it's looking like to be a fairly decent. Does anybody have any questions for either myself or John Quinn, or something that didn't make sense? Okay, then. That just means John and I did a really good job.
Yes.
Well, I thank everybody, and we will see some of you tomorrow and the rest of you on Sunday. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Fantastic. Thank you. See you tomorrow.